Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm super excited to share something with you that I think is just super cool. Recently, I purchased a sous vide cooker and I'm having so much fun with this. Now, this is sous vide, which is French, I think, and not to be confused with sous, which is used for calling pigs. If you were actually looking for pig calling videos and you've ended up here by accident, I'll put the link to the video that I just showed in the bottom. This sous vide cooker, and I purchased the precision cooker from Anova. This is their brand new model here. This isn't sponsored or anything. I just really love this and I think that it was really cool to share with you guys. Now I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how the sous vide works really. You can do a little bit of research and we're going to be seeing that today in the cook video. But generally speaking, here's the idea. This is called a precision cooker. The idea is that you're going to put your meat in, you're going to let it cook, and you're going to set it for the temperature that you want, and you're going to end up with your meat exactly cooked to that temperature. It's super easy, there's not a lot of work required, and the results are consistently perfect every time. It's really awesome, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's get started. Starting up the sous vide is super easy. All you do is plug it in, and then you just need to set the temperature and the cook time. I'm going to use the app that came with it. You can pick a recipe, or even from here you can do it manually. You hit start, and that's going to send the instructions to the sous vide. It's going to start heating the water and circulating. You'll see it in just a minute. And then once it's going, like you see it now, we're going to drop the meat in. Now this meat is frozen. I season my meat before I seal them up. That way I can just drop it right in frozen and I don't have to unpackage it, season it, and reseal it. Now you can put it in a Ziploc bag, by the way, if you get all the air out, or you can use a vacuum sealer like I've done here. That is my preference. You're sure to get all the air out. That way the thing's not floating around while you cook. We're going to leave it for about an hour. Now one of the cool things about the sous vide is that you can leave it for the minimum or longer. It doesn't matter. It's not going to overcook. In this case I've got it set to 129. So this is a precision cooker. That steak is going to be 129 throughout, top to bottom. And so if you have to leave it in there for 5 or 6 hours, that's okay. When you come and take it out, it's going to be ready to go. Now for this next step, we're going to cut the bag open and we're going to take the steak out. And I want to be clear, the steak is perfectly cooked at this point. I could eat it just as it is. And as soon as you cut that bag open, you can smell how delicious it already is. I do want to take it through one more step though. And so we're going to take it out of the bag and we're going to dry it off. Now you'll notice as I take it out of here, the moisture and the juices that are coming out of the bag as well. Again, one of the great things about the sous vide is how well it retains the moisture, and the meat, whatever the meat it is that you're cooking, will be cooking in its own juices. As far as I'm concerned, it is the best way to maintain the highest amount of moisture on your meat while you cook it. So I'm going to just pat this dry. Now you'll notice that my steak is seasoned. All the seasoning is held really good. I always wipe it down with olive oil before I season it and seal it in the vacuum sealer. And it just holds really, really nicely after a cook like this. But if you've not done that or you find that your seasoning is falling off, feel free to add some more seasoning at this point before you go on to the next step. So we're going to dry it up really good, and we're going to go over to the stove and get my cast iron skillet going. Now for this next step, I'm going to add a dollop of butter. I've always wanted to say a dollop of butter. But you really need about 4 tablespoons or so for a steak like this. I probably didn't add enough butter during this cook. You'll see me in a minute add a little bit more. But you want to add the butter in and get it melted down really good. Now you could use clarified butter, maybe even that's better for doing a sear like this because you're going to be cooking at high heat. But you want to get all of the butter in there and get it melted down really good. Now ultimately, and you'll notice that I rushed this just a little bit, I think, but ultimately what you really want is all of the froth to cook down. You want it to look as much as possible just like oil, which by the way, you could use oil if you wanted to, but you want to get it all cooked down before you add your steak in. Now, once you're ready to go, we're close here. I'm gonna go ahead and add some thyme, so just a little bit of extra seasoning there to mix with the butter. And once that's in there, we're gonna go ahead and drop the steak. Now remember, we are just really butter basting this steak. We're just searing it, and what we're after here is some aesthetics here, but we're certainly after some flavor as well. Adding this butter to the steak and searing it in this butter like this is going to add a bit of a golden brown crust. It's absolutely carrying some flavor to the outside of the steak, especially with the thyme that I've added. And you could add some garlic to that as well, or I've seen people add rosemary. I'm not a big fan of rosemary, but whatever sort of aromatic seasoning you like, you can add to this as well, and that is going to cook in to the outside sort of crust of the steak that you're creating with this butter. Again, really about twice as much butter as I've used in this example would have been probably ideal. You want enough butter to be able to spoon up around the steak and really take advantage of the butter basting process and really get that nice golden brown crust on the outside. Now you could just as easily have done this on the grill, by the way, if you're not interested in the butter basting. If you've got a sear station on your grill, or you just get it up really hot and get some high heat, you can take your steak out there, brown it. That will give you some grill marks as well. That's sometimes nice, especially if you've got company coming over and you want that traditional grilled look to your steak. Aesthetics matter. But you want to be careful whatever you do. You only want about a minute or so. You can see I've got some nice crusting going on the outside of that steak. That's perfect, exactly what I want. This steak is ready to go. We're going to take it off and take it to the cutting board. Now we've come to the most exciting part of the cook. It's time to cut this open and have a taste. Now remember, you want to leave a steak like this to rest for maybe 5 minutes or so. Let all those juices settle down. As I'm cutting this open, take a look at the inside. Look at how evenly this steak is cooked. And remember how thin the steak is as well. Very easy to overcook a steak like this. And I'm trying to get a good cut here for you. So as I cut off some of these ends here to show you the inside, look how juicy that steak is. And again, look how even it is. It's really perfectly cooked in terms of the temperature and the doneness level that I was going for. If you like yours more rare or more cooked, you just adjust your sous vide temperature accordingly. But this steak is done and ready to taste. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's delicious. Well guys, that steak turned out fantastic, and honestly everything I've cooked with this sous vide has been really great and been a lot of fun as well. If you think you want to get you one of these and try it out, I'm going to put some links down in the bottom, and if you use my links to purchase this or any of the other accessories, I get a little something, so I'd really appreciate that. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you for watching. This is another Cook in the Books. We'll see you next time.